Why is the Matrix ending so confusing? Let us explain. The Matrix is one of the most influential action movies of all time, but it was built into a trilogy that may have left a few moviegoers a little confused. Now that we've got some distance from the climactic installment, let's take a look back at the meaning of the movies and get to the conclusion. Oh, and don't take any pills yet. Patrol Clip will give you a ride to the Matrix trilogy, so strap in. Humans and machines. In Matrix Revolutions, programs are almost more human than our heroes. They're loving, happy, and described as having a bit of both worlds. We find out that Agent Smith enters the real world through a resistance fighter named Bane, and Neo, a human, reaches the source to discover he is the one because it's his program. Audiences weren't ready for the humanizing of the machines or the mechanization of Neo, flying and beating humanity's robot overlords, but becoming a bridge between man and machine, sacrificing his life for securing the future. One theory about the sequels is that the real world is a second Matrix. As the architect explains at the ending of The Matrix Reloaded, each version of the Matrix is sustained in the real world by a controlled rebellion, so the Matrix is another system of control. With each new iteration of the Matrix, some of the population is freed to live in Zion, helping people inside the Matrix to get out and search for the one that will reach the source, not to destroy the Matrix, but rather to restart it, I guess. Basically, the one has to choose between reloading the Matrix to build a new Zion or walk away, crashing the system, leaving the humans inside and outside of the Matrix. Until Neo came along, the only choice was to restart it, perpetuating the system of its control.
This will be the 6th time we have destroyed it, and we have become exceedingly efficient at it.
I see everything.
The second Matrix theory is supported by the powers of Neo to see without eyes and exert control over the Sentinels. This felt like a betrayal for viewers, with the belief that Neo could only manifest his superpowers in the Matrix, but be able to destroy the Sentinels because he had reached the source, not because he's the one. At the ending of The Matrix Reloaded, Neo said he could feel them before he destroyed them with his mind, connecting with everything else connected to the source, like the machines. So he joined their wireless network and was able to navigate through the Machine City and be able to see Smith inside of Bane during their fight. So Smith, as Neo, are now connected to the source.
I don't need eyes to kick your ass, Smith.
The virus. After his encounter with Neo, Smith begins to rebel and becomes much scarier and a more powerful rogue program than he ever was as an agent for the Matrix, who aims to police the populace by stomping out any signs of the rebellion. Neo and Smith become mirror images of each other, with Neo gaining a connection to the Matrix through the Source, and Smith gaining a connection to the real world through Bane's brain. If Smith is the Matrix's virus, then Neo is his natural antivirus. This was made clear by the Oracle during her talk with Neo and the Matrix's attempt to balance the equation.
Counted. That's his purpose, to balance the equation.
What's your purpose?
To unbalance it.
Smith ended up gaining new attributes, overriding everything in an effort to combat Neo. When Neo blew Smith apart at the ending of the first movie, somehow the Smith was able to make a massive imprint on the program, spreading his destruction to the Matrix as a rogue program cut loose from the machine's control. His only goal then becomes to propagate himself. It is,
quite simply, his purpose.
Mecha. At Machine City, Neo met the collective voice of the machines before watching Trinity die in a never-ending scene. An interconnected hive mind adopts a human face to speak to the first human ever to set foot inside the city's walls. Neo approaches the machines with a deal. He knows that Smith is corrupting everything, taking control of the entire system, and becoming a mutual enemy of both species. So Neo offers to handle the problem in exchange for one thing: peace. Now by this point, the machines' usual plan for the Matrix is in complete disorder. Neo, having made his choice not to reload the system upon arrival at the source, is now in totally new territory. He's already broken the loop, but still needs to accomplish two goals: saving humanity from the machines and saving the machines from Smith. If he fails, everyone dies.
And there will be only Smith.
Peace.
The antivirus. During Neo's super battle in the Matrix, he doesn't do it with the goal of beating Smith to death. No! Smith is everywhere, and everyone. Neo and the Smith Prime battle as Smith's limitless ranks continue to spread, but Neo's not looking too good for wear. Not even close. Before finishing him off, though, Smith has one final question for Neo.
Why, Mr. Anderson? Why? Why do you persist?
Because I choose to.
It's the choice to fight rather than the fight itself that makes Neo the winner. Smith can simply not comprehend the concept of choice. He is purpose, copying himself, corrupted, desperately trying to balance itself out. It's Smith, not humanity, that has become the virus. It's by choosing to sacrifice himself that Neo finds victory, by letting Smith copy over him, and thus the antivirus cancels out the virus. And because Smith doesn't have a choice, only a purpose, Neo wouldn't have been able to do it if Smith had one, which is why, as he dies, all he can say is that
The outcome is not fair.
bon voyage, Smith, and sorry not sorry. The real plan. The Matrix series ends on a moment of reflection among programs inside the 7th version of the Matrix instead of the real world. With Smith destroyed, the revived Oracle sits and waits for the sun to rise as the Architect approaches. This is the real meaning. A battle between two programs like a yin and a yang. The cold philosophy of the Architect and the faith of the Oracle have been driving the conflict since its beginning, and now they meet in a ceasefire. Neo's defeat over Smith is ultimately all the result of the Oracle's intervention. In the first movie, the Oracle serves as a matchmaker between Neo and Trinity, telling them that it's their destiny to fall in love. But really? Well, no. Nobody is really destined to do anything. It's all about choice.
Choice. The problem is choice.
Neo and Trinity's romance influences Neo to break out of the cycle of control when he reaches the source. Instead of reloading the Matrix, he stays with Trinity, forgetting the consequences. Sure, it was Neo's choice, but it was also part of the Oracle's plan. The one thing the machines could not prepare for was the element of love. The program Sati. One of the most curious and underexplained characters in the Matrix sequels is the young girl who is treated with importance but without the why of it all. Sati is a program without purpose, daughter of two programs Neo meets at the trained man's purgatory. This entity is a novelty for the machines and useless, subject to deletion, which is why Sati's parents are trying to shepherd her to shelter. Sati is the representation of love, which is a new concept to the machines. Love at the end of the series is ultimately what secures the humans' victory. Neo's love for Trinity drives him to make the choice not to reload the Matrix, but instead fight for peace. Sati can be seen as the machine's way of trying to make sense of love since they don't comprehend it, existing in a blind spot and allowing Neo to skip the logical choices and make his own. At the end, the machines decided to let Sati control the Matrix, with the Architect and Oracle's conflict at rest in the 7th version. This is confirmed by the beautiful sunrise Sati said she made for Neo, supported by the new compassionate approach to the Matrix's human population in the new version.
Did you do that?
For now.
Matrix 7.0. At the end, we don't see the Matrix destroyed. On the contrary, it is renewed and rebooted for a 7th version with new rules. According to the Architect in The Matrix Reloaded, the Matrixes are built on the flaws of the previous one, tuning the system so that the machines controlled humanity inside and out of the Matrix. But now with peace secured, any human who desires to depart the Matrix are allowed to do so. Some might call it the ultimate virtual reality game, but without the slavery. As the Oracle explained, the peace between the warring humans and machines will only last as long as it can, implying that more cycles may be set to come. Peace is not guaranteed, and the architect makes that clear. Well, guys, that is all for now. If there is anything you'd like to add, make sure you drop your comments below, hit like and subscribe to Patrol Clip, and until next time.